Hey everyone, and welcome to making your own Dijon mustard. It's actually surprisingly easy, and it tastes way better than you get in the store. Plus, you can alter it to get the exact flavor that you want. So first I'm going to start with some yellow mustard seeds. I'm going to use 3 tablespoons here. Now I'm putting it into this Ninja blender. No promotion there, but just putting it into this Ninja blender just to break up the seeds a little bit so that the liquid that I'm going to add is going to be more easily absorbed. So after that, we're going to go some black mustard seeds. Again, it's equal parts for the yellow and the black for what I like, so it's 3 tablespoons as well. But you can change it, just make sure that you have 6 tablespoons altogether of mustard seeds. So with that done, what I'm going to do is put on the blender lid and blend it up just a little bit. Now you can do this by hand with a mortar pestle. Or you can use a different type of blender, whatever you want to do. You don't even have to do this step if you don't want. It just takes a little bit longer for the liquid to absorb into the seeds and get that flavor. So I just like breaking it up just a little bit, not into a powder, but just so that all of the seeds are cracked. So I'm just going to pour this into a bowl and we'll move on to the other ingredients. So first thing I'm going to add in is some salt. Now for this I'm going to use 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, so it's not that much, just a pinch. After that we got some mustard powder or ground mustard. It's a 1/4 teaspoon of that. Got some onion powder, 1/4 teaspoon as well. I mean, a lot of these, it's very equal ingredients across the board. And I did that just so it's super easy for you to follow along to make it. We got garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon as well. And some white pepper. Now you can use black pepper, but just for the appearance, I prefer white pepper. And it's 1/8 of a teaspoon. So it's not that much. Again, it's the same as the salt. Once you make this, you can go back and you can adjust it to what you like. I made these proportions so it's super easy to remember and really easy to follow along and do it yourself at home. So I'll be using apple cider vinegar for this, as well as a regular white vinegar. You can use white wine vinegar. You can use just white wine if you want, or just all apple cider or all white vinegar. It's up to you, but I do like a little bit of apple cider vinegar in there. And for this I'm going to be using 4 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And then 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. Now, as I said, feel free to mix and match those, but you want usually around 6 tablespoons of some sort of liquid to go in with these seeds. So I'm just mixing to incorporate all of that. Just use a spatula to clean up the sides, make sure it's all incorporated. And you can see how it's already absorbing a lot of that liquid. Now, what you could do at this point, if it's not liquid enough, because the seeds will absorb a lot more of that liquid. If you don't have, if it's not watery enough, as what you just saw, add another tablespoon of vinegar and then cover it with plastic wrap and leave it at room temperature for 24 to 48 hours. I find works best. So here we are the next day. Now what I did do is it did absorb quite a lot of the liquid, so I did have to add, after about 6 to 8 hours, I added another tablespoon of vinegar. So I love these little jars. They seal, it's perfect, especially for gifts and things like that. But you can also just use a regular old jar that you have lying around, or a container. So what we're gonna do is, you can have the mustard just like this, but I'm gonna blend it up and make it a little bit smoother of a texture. Now when you blend it, it will thicken up, as well as it will thicken up when you put it in the fridge. So that's why you want it a little bit more liquid than a solid at this point. So again, using trusty blender I have here, it works great because it's a small amount, and so you don't have this giant blender to take out. And all the pieces, of course, go in the dishwasher. So I'm just gonna turn it on and just blend it until it's a fairly smooth consistency. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And you'll see when I open it up just how thick it actually gets when you blend it, which is why you want it to have some of that liquid still before you put it in the blender. And it will thicken up more in the fridge. So just gonna try to get as much as I can off of here. It's a little bit hard, but. And I really love Dijon mustard, and I love homemade mustard, especially when you find the combination that works for you. Again, you know, the recipe that I'm using, it's in the description. This is what I like. These are the amounts that I like. If you like garlic, if you like a little bit more salt, you know, feel free to adjust these amounts to suit your taste. So just gonna spoon it into the jar here. And pop that into the fridge, and it's ready to use.